Hi, thank you for visiting LibertyBudget.com. If you haven't done so yet, you can go to your browser and type in LibertyBudget.com and download our spreadsheet so you can follow along with this tutorial. I'm going to demonstrate how to get a copy of your own spreadsheet. You can go to your Start menu, go to the Programs, find your internet browser. I'm using Firefox in this case. And here you can go to your browser bar and type in address bar and type in www.LibertyBudget.com, and it will bring up the website. You can find out more about the Liberty Budget by reading What is Liberty Budget? This page tells you a little bit about why I created the spreadsheet budget and some of the goals I have for it. You can click here, or you can go up to the top of the page and choose the download page. And here's the download link. It's locked. All you have to do is share it real quick on one of your Facebook profiles. I'm going to log into mine. You can share it real quick, and the link will show up after you share it on one of your social profiles. Choose the Download Liberty Budget link, and again, and you'll get the download window. Just type in the numbers real quickly. That keeps make sure a person's downloading. Alright, I'm going to save the file. Alright, it's saved the file. Let's follow it and find out what folder it put it in. Open the container folder. Alright, so it kept it in the downloads folder. And I'm just going to right click on the file, and I'm going to choose extract here. Alright, and create a subfolder, and inside your folder you have the readme file, and then of course you have the spreadsheet. Now the spreadsheet is in open document format. It's an open document spreadsheet, so you'll need a office software that can open ODS files. The newer Microsoft Office 2012 can do that. You can also get, I use LibreOffice. You can download that for free. I have links on my website to all these Office softwares, so you can read more about it in the README HTML file. I just tell you some of the things you have to do. What we just did, you unzip the file in the folder, download and install a compatible Office software suite. Here's the article that gives you some Office softwares you can download. Some of them are free trials, some are completely free. You just have to understand my terms for using the spreadsheet. Basically, I don't want to get sued, so you're on your own is basically what that means. Okay, so the number 4 is just tells you kind of how the boxes and the cells or the spreadsheet is laid out. Then this kind of explains how you type in your numbers and how you can remove items without actually deleting the information you typed in. This will let you try different income and expense scenarios. Then this will tell you how you can take if you're good at budgeting and you don't have any overspending and you only have remainders left. It tells you how you can divert your remainder into more savings for future expenses. And then of course number 7 tells you how you can share this budget spreadsheet with anyone. This is great to share with people who are just starting out learning finances, people who might always be asking you for money, people who might be in debt, pretty much anyone. If you're good at finances, this tool can also help you as well. So spread the message about financial liberty. Help others download the Liberty Budget at LibertyBudget.com. Alright, so let's go ahead and open the spreadsheet. I'm just going to double click on the file. Alright, and here's the spreadsheet. I've broken down the spreadsheet into two major areas. The bottom part here, underneath this bold line, is where you enter in most of your data. And at the top here, there's some links. You can learn about the terms and conditions of the using the spreadsheet. Here's the frequently asked questions page. I'll be adding more to that as I get more questions on the website. And here's a tutorial video. This is probably the one you're watching, but the link is always here in case you need to review it again. And if you want to please share this with your friends and family, you can send them an email. You can also send them a social bookmark, and there's lots of other ways to participate by clicking on this link. You can I have some PDF printouts of like the little telephone slip things, PDFs you can print out, full color PDFs, advertising the website, and you can post it to any poster board or cork board, bulletin board that might be where in the places that you visit daily. And then over here is the Liberty Budget summary area. Here is the first item is your total expenses. Now this drop down right here allows you to control your entire budget by choosing the time frame. Now the way this works is the time frame is centered on your primary income. You say you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, you would set this to bi-weekly. If you get paid monthly, you would set it to monthly. Some people get paid weekly, some get paid daily. Regardless of the political issues surrounding that, a lot of people get paid bi-weekly in this country, but not everyone's the same. Some people work for themselves and may only get paid quarterly or annually, who knows. So I made the spreadsheet flexible enough to accommodate all of those income scenarios. But in this case, for my example, I'm going to choose a bi-weekly income. You can see how the numbers change if you choose a different time frequency. But basically, this controls both the way your incomes are broken down as well as your expenses are broken down. But what it will do is it will break down all of your expenses and show you what your expenses are for just that time period. And this is really useful because it matches your expenses to your income rather than chopping up your income and trying to divvy it out to multiple expenses. So, which is the traditional budgeting method that I learned. And this just tells you what time factor it's dividing your expenses by to match them against your paycheck. So in this case, there's 26 pay periods in the year, so that would be 52 weeks in a year divided by 2 gives you 26, so there's 26 bi-weekly paychecks. That just tells you what this is. This number just tells you what you chose here. And then this is the next useful item. This tells you what percentage your expenses are of your income. Now your income gets input down here, but this tells you you're spending more than what you make. So in this case, I'm spending more than what I make in my fictitious budget here. I just put in a bunch of numbers, so I have a very nice salary here, which is not real. So in this case, I have so many expenses that I'm still spending more than what I'm making imaginarily. So in this case, I need to balance my budget by going through and cutting out some expenses, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Here, this item is the required income line, and you can play around with it. You say you don't know how much you need to earn. Say knowing how much you need to earn in a year is a little too lofty, and you need to know how much you need to get paid per hour. You can choose hourly rate, and this spreadsheet is based on a 40-hour work week. You can change those numbers in this other tab, but you can just leave the defaults for now for the purpose of this demonstration, this tutorial. So you can choose the required income frequency is completely independent of what your expenses are, and so this lets you know I've got to make $67.51 every hour to keep up this lifestyle. Hey, it's a free country, you know. If I want to spend that much, I have the liberty to do so. You can have anything you want in life, but you've got to afford it. And the Liberty Budget lets you do that. Lets you play with all different kinds of income and expense scenarios, and gives you the tools you need to make the decisions, the financial decisions that you've got to make that kind of money, or cut that amount of money out of your budget. So here I'm going to set it back to you can kind of get an idea of how much you need to make per month, or how much you have to make bi-weekly. And of course you can see here this basically matches your expenses, and that's essentially what it's doing, is it's adding all your expenses up and telling how much you need to make to break even. So here's by two times a year. Here's annual. We'll set it back to annual. So this is how much I have to make before taxes, everything. So this is just simply the remainder column. This is the good column. If you have money showing up here, you're doing well. You're spending less than you make, and you have money to put into savings somewhere. And the goal of this, the Liberty Budget, is to help you balance your budget at zero. So eventually we want to get both the remainder and the overspending cut columns to say no or zero or something to that effect, because you want to treat your savings as an expense. So you don't want anything left over. There is no such thing as leftover money. It's money you should be saving for the future. So here is the last line of the Liberty Budget summary area. This is the overspending cut, and this is the depending on how you look at it, the best or the worst column. So this, after you type in all of your expenses down here at the bottom, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, this box right here adds up all of your expenses and adds up all of your income right here. Well, this tells you what you should be making, but obviously here 103%, where I'm spending more than I make in this fictional budget. And so that amount is shown here. I'm spending every 2 weeks, I'm spending $188.86 more than what I make. And this is based on all of my future savings, all of my future expenses, things like my car insurance that might be only due every 2 times a year, to anything that happens outside of the normal frequency of the paycheck, anything from your daily expenses toward monthly expenses, toward yearly, annual expenses, to lifetime expenses. I've got a time period all the way out to 70 years. So this budget lets you budget short-term and long-term, and divides everything up and matches it against your paycheck. So down here, let's go on to the next section, and that is the legend. So basically, any boxes that have a green background, you can type your data in here. But this is your box to type in. Here is a pick box. You click on the arrow, and you can choose any of the time frequencies here. This is like divides your expenses up to match against, and kind of the same thing that this does as well. Here, this is the red background shows a cell that has a calculation or it's locked down because for one reason or another, so that way the formula doesn't get changed accidentally, and you get the correct number every time. So you can't type in these are locked anyway. So if you scroll down here, or if you go over here, this just is a nice little chart. It takes your total income and tells you based on what time period you selected here, or time frequency, it tells you what 100% of your income is, tells you what, various percentages of your income, so you can kind of get an idea of how your income breaks down percentage wise. So then you go over here, and this is your liability column. This is one of the most important things you can fill out. You can do this by looking at your pay stub and calculating backwards to get what percentage your employer may be holding out for you, withholding from your paycheck. And those numbers are important because they really are expenses. Your employer pays half of them, and so really you get paid more than what you even get hired and get paid for. So not everything is reported to you, so you're kind of more expensive than what you really realize as an employee. If you're self-employed, you can change these to show the full percentage that's being paid on your behalf. But basically, this budget lets you treat your taxes as an expense, and that's what they are. They are a very large expense, and things like FICA, the Social Security taxes, Medicare, and then of course the other semi-mandated expenses like 401ks and things like that employers trying to get you to participate in. They'll pull that out of your paycheck. You put those percentages in there, and these will auto-calculate for you down here in your expense column. If you don't want anything to show up down here, say you're exempt, or for some reason, God bless you, or you work for yourself, or you don't want to participate in a 401k, you can go up here to this liability percentages and zero out the percentage to get a zero total down there. This is for federal income tax, this is for state income tax, this is for, my goodness, if you live in a place that charges you, a county or a borough or some city or something that charges you a municipal income tax, God help you, you can type in the percentage there. Anyway, so we go on to for people who are religious, your religious institution will usually encourage you to tie the percentage of your income to your fellowship. There's various philosophical, theological, religious regions for this. Various people have different percentages that they're encouraged to give. Some are free will offerings. Some are various religions and denominations have all kinds of requirements. So you can type in this percentage here if that's pertains to you. If not, you can just zero it out. Here, the next is giving. This is also something else our culture is very good at. We're very good at giving. We kind of enshrine it in the tax code, and it's almost a way to balance the books in some ways, to get an edge on the tax burden, and it's also a way to actually do some good stuff. Also too, you can change this to whatever percentage you like to give. This is a percentage on your gross income, so it might be a little restrictive. You can just zero that out and type in a different entry in the spare boxes below if you don't do a total percentage or straight percentage on your gross income. You can also go to your savings, the savings percentage. This auto calculates for you as well. Various people, I mean, it's a completely, the issue is completely up in the air. A lot of people save as much as they can. There's people who don't save anything at all. I used to be one of those, so I'm changing my tune. If I can live on with 10 to 20% less of my income, that's a great way to save. You should also be investing too in other things like stocks, bonds, all that kind of stuff, 401ks. You can type in the percentage that you like to contribute there, and then of course spending should also be kind of controlled. You should kind of have an idea of what percentage you don't want to go over, but it shouldn't be zero. You know, different people have different requirements, so spending, you can change your percentage here. You can do 0.5%, whatever. So that is your liability percentages. This just kind of auto calculates based on your gross income, so this might be a little restrictive. If so, just zero out the column, zero out the percentage, and it will zero out the auto calculation expense down here, and then you're free to type in whatever expenses you want down here. So this is not mandatory, but it is very helpful, especially for things like taxes and government sponsored investing. Alright, so now we go on to the next area, and this is where you'll type in your incomes. Now the incomes, they are broken. The budget is basically broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. And the first column is going to be your income source, and the second column just lets you, the income source lets you put a generic name for the income, and then in the second column you can put a more specific name. So you can say this is your primary income or your big paycheck or whatever, and you can put the name of the company you work for. Here the third column is basically just lets you kind of tie this budget to your calendar if you want to. Of course, the whole purpose of the Liberty Budget is to eliminate the calendar from budgeting, but it's still useful for knowing when things have to get paid. Even though you eliminate the time from your budget, the days still tick on, so you gotta pay your bills on time. So this just kind of gives you a reminder. You can type in, 29th or the 3rd, whatever you want to do. This is basically just a notes column. You can type notes in here as well. Here is where we get down to the real deal. is the complex income amount. So this is how much you get paid for the time period that you chose. So every 2 weeks you might get paid, let's say you only make $1,000. Here is where you choose the time frequency that you get paid. So let's say you get paid $1,000 every week, and you get a paycheck every week. That's not common. Let's go ahead and change this to $2,000 every 2 weeks, and you can see that the Liberty Budget will automatically adjust the income here to match the income here. Now that's it seems to be redundant, especially for the income, but once you get to a frequency other than your primary income, so this is your primary income row, once you get to a frequency that's different, you'll see that the items will be different. So what it's doing is it's taking incomes that are less frequent and breaking them down to match the frequency of your primary income, which we chose up here, and we also specified here. So this is really good because you can do this for your incomes as well as your expenses to get everything to match up on each and every paycheck that you receive, so that your your current and future expenses can be matched directly against your current income. This really changes the way I thought about budgeting, because I don't have to constantly consult my calendar all the time. So here, let's say I have another income. Let's say it's only $300 monthly. I don't have an income. I don't have an apartment to rent out. So I'll go ahead and delete this. I'll delete this, and you can delete the yellow column. It will go away, but the options are still there for any future entries. All right. So the secondary income. Let's just make this simple. Let's say I don't have a secondary income, and I'm choosing delete contents. Okay, you can also type the delete key on your keyboard to clear out these entries. So down here, I also sell some things online, and so I'm going to call that my second income, and the name of that we'll set to, that's my website. I just sell a few things on Amazon. So here I can input how much I generally make, and this does change, so this would be the only reason you would need to revise your budget. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to average and take a low end of what I make every 2 weeks. Alright, so then this balances out. I get paid every 2 weeks by that income source, so it's going to match and be the same. So once everything's done, down here in the subtotals and the total, I will have a composite of what I make between these two income sources, and it will be reported in the frequency that I chose up here. Here you can see, if we watch closely down here at the totals, if I choose a different time frequency for reporting incomes, you can see that the totals will change. So let me set it back to bi-weekly, and let's go down here to the expense section. This is the next area that I need to fill out. So it's the same 8 columns. Basically, once you get done putting your incomes in, everything that else is expenses, and it's the same 8 columns. So here, instead of income, they're the expense column. Instead of the name of where I'm getting paid by the entity that's paying me, I'm just simply paying typing the name of the item that I'm paying to, the payee or the whatever. So the third column is the same thing. It's good for notes and you know, dates you can put in there so you can correlate to your calendar. Other notes as well. You can also, and then the fourth column is the complex expense amount. Now this is where the Liberty budget starts to shine. Here we've got the red items that are auto-calculated by the percentages up top. So here, let's look at, this is my my U.S. employment expenses, my taxes that get taken out on me, how much I've got, how hard I have to work to pay these taxes. It's an excellent way to do this is to break it down by item. So here I got my FICA tax, which is Social Security basically, and it gets taken out on the 1st and 15th, or bi-weekly really. You can just type whatever you want in there, it doesn't matter. But here it auto-calculates how much taxes are taken out on me based on the percentage that I put up here. And here you can see there's two different FICAs. One is for employer-employed people, and this is for self-employed people. And you might be both. You might be one or the other, or both. In my case, I'm both, so both sections I'm going to fill out, or they already get filled out for me. And what happens is if I make more money, then I have to pay more taxes. And so this auto-calculates that, feeds it back into the subtotal, and shows up in my total expenses. So it's great for keeping track of how much you've got to pay in addition to all your other expenses in life. How many taxes you have to pay in addition to all your other expenses. So once I've this automatically gets calculated and automatically adds up. So percentage of my income, 29.6%, and we go down to the next section. Now this section right here is the compulsory expenses section. Taxes are compulsory. There are other reasons you might be compelled to spend. Many of them are religious reasons, some of them are charitable reasons, humanitarian reasons. Some of them are you're compelled by the future. You got to save for the future. You want a good retirement, you're compelled to save for your retirement so you can meet your expenses and obligations for when you're not working quite as often, so you can be near your family, or any other reason. Investing, if you're into investing, you can treat that as a compulsory expense, trying to beat the inflation of the economy, or any other reason you might invest that might compel you to invest. Spending, usually we're all compelled by our desires to buy things that we like, and so spending is a compulsory expense. And of course your position in society, your societal status is also a compelling reason to spend money. So usually if you want to make more, you have to impress more people, and you have to show that you've gone through the paces and paid your dues and all that social compulsion for buying things like education and other training products and services. So you can put that there, and basically it's just like any other expense. You type in how much you pay and how often you pay it. So let's say I spend $20 every let's say I go to college. Let's say this is for my college payment. You can type in, let's say I got one of those fancy educational loans from the government that you can never escape through bankruptcy, so you must pay that one. That's another compelling reason to pay off your debt. So I'm going to say I got a good deal and it's only $100 a month. The Liberty Budget expense column will break down that $100 to match it against your biweekly income. And so $46.15 is what you're going to have to pull out of your paycheck every 2 weeks to cover your monthly expense of $100. So basically that's how the Liberty Budget operates. How much you pay, how often you pay it, and how it matches against your regular paycheck. And we can go on to all the other categories, but that's basically the main thing about the Liberty Budget, is writing down all your expenses and seeing how it stacks up against your regular paycheck. So here we can go on to the next ones, and there's various categories. I've broken things down into a survival expenses section, things like water, food, shelter. Here you can put your mortgage in. Energy, you got to keep the lights on, got to stay warm, got to stay cool in the summer, warm in the winter. Security, things like I don't know, you pay for an ADT alarm system to protect all the valuables in your house. Maybe you pay this every 15th of the month. Maybe they charge you, maybe you got a good deal, maybe it's $25 a month. You can choose the monthly expense frequency, and it breaks it down, tells you how much you're going to have to pull out of your paycheck. Alright. Other things like insurance you can list here. Those are security items. They help secure your finances and against future loss and all that good stuff. Next we go to the communication section. Without communications you're kind of stuck in this modern world, so you got to have a way to get to the internet, or let's say you use the maybe you go to McDonald's to use their internet to take care of all your banking and emailing and any other financial services you might use online. If you don't, you can choose. You can type in, anything. You can put in. You can type in zero amounts. So let's say you go to the library. Every 10th of the month, and you pay $0. Just write it down so you kind of know you're doing that to save money. So you can go in here and you can just say I do this monthly. So you've got a budget item. This is something you normally would spend money on somewhere else, so you can go ahead and let's say you wanted to get rid of one of these bills. You can delete it like that, or you can go over here, instead of, if you want to just try this for a little while, you can go over here and choose the cut option to remove it from your total budget numbers. It's still there, but this one is what you're going to try for a little while to replace this and see how it works out. So you can try different expense cutting measures to balance your budget. And there's also cheap phone services you can use. These depend on internet connections, so there's all kinds of things you can type in here or delete, or type in and leave and cut out temporarily. There's all kinds of possibilities with the Liberty Budget. Here you can go to the next major section is critical expenses. These are things that aren't necessary to surviving in the modern world, but are pretty critical. Things like paying your bills. Here you can list all of these separately. Same idea: how much you pay, how often you pay it, and how it matches up against your regular income. Going to the next thing, transportation expenses. You got to get around. You might ride in a car. You might catch a ride to work with someone in a car. You might take the train. Put your train tickets in here. Maybe you take the train. So train tickets. Maybe you buy them every beginning of the month, every first of the month. And let's say you pay, let's say it's $10 a day to ride the train. Let's say it's $5 a day. You got a really great system, $5 a day. So $5. You can choose small frequencies like daily frequencies, and it will multiply it up and make it match your regular income. So here's $50 every 2 weeks that you're going to have to pay to ride the train for $5 a day. But that might help you save the wear and tear of auto fuel, car insurance. So let's go ahead and cut out that car, sell that car and get rid of it. And get rid of your safety inspections every year. Doesn't save you much, but it saves you some. And so let's see what it was before. Annual. So actually car insurance is probably semi-annual. That's where I had it before. So let's say you just want to see how much the train does save you. So let's say the train is $5 a day. Well, with a car, you got to pay car insurance, you got a safety inspection, you got registration, yearly registration, and you got to buy gas every day to make the thing go. That doesn't include expenses like repairs. That's further down in the section. You can put it here if you want. You can put auto repairs here. You can put it down. I put it down in the inventory section, but it doesn't matter where you put it. They all get added up. They all end up here in the total expenses column. So you can test different scenarios. So let's say before with a car I was paying $58.15 for my transportation every 2 weeks. That's how much it cost me to keep my car. So let's say I want to save some money. $58.15. So what I can do is I can choose cut for these. And choose that for daily. So it saves me $8 and something for every paycheck. Not a lot of money, but everything adds up. So you can try different scenarios. So we can keep going down here. Personal care expenses. That lets you budget for grooming, health and beauty supplies, clothing, anything you can think of. And then we go down here to the next major section is discretionary expenses. These are things that make life easier, maybe a little bit nicer. They're definitely things you don't need to survive, and you don't need to cover your critical expenses. These are nice things, these are fun things, these are the first things that can go when you're trying to reduce your overspending. Up here, if you have an overspending number here, start here in the discretionary expenses area first. So let's go down here to membership fees. Obviously my overspending cut, I've got to cut a lot, so let's just Credit card fees, get rid of any credit cards that charge me fees. Credit monitoring, hey, you can get credit reports for free. So I've got links over here that help you find some money saving tools and links, some offers that you can, this takes you to my blog at LibertyBudget.com, and you can read about these various services and visit the links if you're interested in using them. It helps support the Liberty Budget site, and helps you save money at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. I help you and you help me. So here we go. If we go to cut, we can go ahead and cut these items out just to see how much money we can save. Alright, so that gets rid of all incomes and the financial discretionary expenses. Food service. Costs a lot of money to eat out all the time, so maybe I can go up here to my survival expenses and type in more money for food, because it stretches further, and go down here to my discretionary expenses and cut out all this eating out. Or I might just simply change how often I eat out. But in this case, we still got a lot to cut, so I'm going to go get drastic. Snacks, you can buy those in bulk. Don't have to buy them at the machine all the time. So that eliminates some items there. And then here we can communications. Cell phones are nice. Sometimes modern life makes them seem like a necessity, but you can really live your life without a cell phone. And I have an article on my blog that shows you how to have a cell phone but not pay monthly fees. There's ways to minimize your cell phone use, so that way you still have the use of the cell phone and all the amenities of even a smartphone without having to pay for expensive data plans and expensive minute plans. So in this case, I'm going to say I can get by without a mobile phone, so I'm going to cut that out. Definitely don't need two of them, so I can cut that out. I'm starting to lower my overspending here. Here we'll go to entertainment. There's a lot of free entertainment on the internet. Free TV sites are starting to become popular, starting to migrate back to the free broadcast model of over-the-air TV before cable took over. So there's still a lot of free TV out there. I'm going to write some articles here about finding entertainment without spending a lot of money, so you can go visit the blog and learn more about that. For this case, we're going to just cut out any additional fees. Fees. No more fees. Alright, so now we're going to hear the services. Services are discretionary. They make life easier. You may or may not want to keep them. For this demonstration, I'm just showing you how you can still keep the item there but cut it temporarily. Cut it out. Cut it out. And you're saving more money. Well, and then here's the next section, is the miscellaneous section. If you can think of it, if you've ever spent money on it, if you got a receipt sitting around somewhere, you're probably going to spend money on it again. Go ahead and type it in here. Type in what it is, what it's for, when you pay it, how much it is, how often you think you're going to be buying that item, if it's light bulbs for the house, whatever, anything. Type it in here. There's also another section down here for inventory expenses. A lot of times the things you buy also then have additional expenses. They have consumables, so like you might have a printer. That thing's going to need toner every 3 or 4 months, so might as well type it in, you know. So you got a printer, type it in. You're going to need toner or ink cartridges. Those things that are expensive, they add up. They make you overspend. So go ahead and type it in. You might not have any notes here. You might say it's for your HP printer, whatever. Might be your Oki printer. Maybe you need toner for your Oki and ink for your HP inkjet. So you can break it in 2 lines. Let's go. Inkjet cartridges. Here you can say toner for your Oki Data printer, inkjet cartridges for your HP printer, and Oki Data makes pretty good little compact printers. If you get just the black toner for printing most things, you can save a lot of money doing that. You might have to buy a toner cartridge every 6 months, maybe even up to a year if you don't print a lot. So let's put $20 in there. Let's say it's semi-annual. So that's $1.54 out of every paycheck you're going to have to save or anticipate spending. So let's say your HP inkjets go a little bit faster. Let's say you need $20 every say you print a lot, $20 every 2 months. So that's how much you're going to have to deduct out of your paycheck. And you can put other items here, like say for your automobile, say the transmission goes out. What's the worst thing that can happen to your car? Transmissions run about $3,000. You can, if that's if you get a cheap one, set that to annual. That's how much you'd have to save. And of course, if you don't want to list a lot of this stuff, maybe this can be the automobile anything. This can be your general emergency fund. Maybe this we'll call this emergency, because you can't budget everything because there's not enough money for budgeting for everything. So just pick one catastrophic item and figure out the most catastrophic item, repair item in your that you might have to pay for, and make that your major item. So that might be all you're willing to pay for without having to pay for insurance. Let's say you don't budget for insurance. You can budget by doing this way, having an emergency fund for catastrophic repairs. It's kind of your own insurance program. Things like just look around your house. There's all kinds of things. You got a computer. If you're going to have to replace that, I mean, those things wear out. The screens go blank after a while. The hard drives get old. You got to buy a new hard drive. Sometimes you have to buy just a whole brand new laptop. Go ahead and budget it for it. In this case, for really long-term items, just put in the max of what you would be willing to spend right now, and then choose the time frequency. Let's say you really think you can, in 7 years, you're going to be using the same laptop. Go ahead and try it. It will lower how much you're going to have to save. a lot of this stuff, if you're anticipating buying it, go ahead and budget for it. If they're not things that you think you'll need to buy, go ahead and delete them. But consumables, absolutely. Software might be a consumable in your list. For the purpose of this demonstration, it's not. So, but things like batteries, those are definitely consumables, and go ahead and put those in there in your budget. Your house, it's got an air conditioning system. Budget for it. You got to put air filters in there to reduce, to keep the air flowing, so it doesn't put stress on the fan motors and all the items in the air conditioning system, so it operates so it doesn't wear out as quickly. By budgeting for smaller items like this, you can keep track of that and extend the operating life of your home and all the equipment in it. So you've got lights burn out, go ahead and budget for it. You might not need that many light bulbs. Maybe you only buy $10 worth of light bulbs every 6 months. That will definitely lower your budget. You're overspending. So if you got vacuum cleaner bags, maybe you just got a new vacuum cleaner, one of those bagless kinds with the cyclone cups or whatever they call them. Go ahead and delete that. You don't need that in your budget. Trash bags. There's all kinds of things. If you can think of it, it needs to be in your budget. So now when we get down here, and these are basically the same numbers that get re-reported up here. So now that you've got everything in, all of your expenses listed, you can go back to the top here, go ahead and save this as a new copy. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this one your old budget. Alright? So with your old budget, this will tell you what you're currently spending and what you're currently making, and it will tell you how much you're overspending. And this is your target number. You've got to get rid of this to quit generating debt. So to do that, let's go ahead and save a new copy. We're going to do save as, and we're going to say, you can call it new, current, whatever. We'll call it current, your new budget. This is your goal. This is where you can start doing surgery on your expenses. So we've got $1,215.46 I've got to cut. I'm spending way too much money and not making enough money. There's only two ways to do it. You can make more, try and get a raise at work, $2,500, or you can go down here. You can start another business. I don't know. Third income, power wash, driveways. Go around to your neighbors, and I don't know, mow lawns or something. So you can go here. Let's say someone want to pay you $20 every. Let's say you can find 5 people to pay you $20. So you can go $100. So you can say 5. In your notes, you can say 5 times $20. That's $100. And let's say you do that monthly. Well, there's $46.15 toward your bi-weekly income. So that just took us out of the $1,000 range. Still got about a $950, almost $1,000 I got to cut. So maybe we can look at here. You can't cut any of your your income expenses, your tax expenses. Those are compulsory by force. There's no way to get rid of those other than maybe state income tax. You can move to a state without income tax, but that's pretty expensive to move. So for the time being, I'm stuck in the state I'm in. So let's go to the next item here. Let's go down here to charities. Maybe one charity is enough. Maybe two is enough. I don't know. Maybe you gotta make hard decisions here. But small stuff like this, even though it seems small, if you got a lot of them, they add up. So maybe maybe your retirement saving goal is a little too much. Let's say you could live off the interest of $100,000 in 50 years. You want to save that much, so that cut a good $100 off. Go in here, maybe you can refinance and get a lower rate. Who knows? Maybe you can switch it from get rid of your college education, government education debt by refinancing an education loan and paying it off with a commercial loan, so that way you have more options if things get bad. And also find a better interest rate. Maybe the interest rate's a little higher, but you can get a lower monthly payment. Who knows? Let's say you can lower that to $80. Let's say you don't need a new filter every 3 months. Let's try getting a new water filter every 6 months. Try using less water. These aren't typical numbers, but who knows. Collect rainwater or something. You can go to your groceries here. People's food requirements are vastly different. Some people can live off salads. Some people need all meat in their diet. Who knows? Some people need a lot of vegetables. Some people eat out a lot. So you're going to have to tailor this. I'm spending $612 on food for a family of 4. And you might not be able to get rid of the people in your family, but maybe they can start paying for their own food. Maybe you can slash this cost to maybe some of them have grown up and gone to college and they pay for their own food. Who knows what your scenario is. So let's say it's not for 4 people anymore. So let's say it's for 3 people now, or 2 people. So we'll cut that in half. 5, 25. Maybe that's how many people you've got in your family. Alright, so we revise that budget. Let's say you can get away with $1 a day. Let's say we can eat cheaper than that. Let's go $15. Maybe somebody doesn't eat out. Maybe some person packs a lunch. Who knows? You can reduce expenses all kinds of ways. Go find coupons. Just cut your expenses. That's all this exercise is about. So we lowered our expenses there a little bit for food. So we still got about $600 we got to get rid of. This house is pretty expensive here. Well, I've only got 2 months to go before escrow shortage pays out, so I'll leave that in there for a while. Maybe we need to sell the house. Who knows? That's $660 right there every 2 weeks. Maybe the power, maybe we can cut back on the air conditioning. Maybe we can trim that back to $125. Maybe we can buy some gas. I don't know. Replace one of the appliances with gas or something. Let's say get a gas central AC. Maybe that might let us cut our electricity usage to 80 something bucks a month, and it only adds $40 in gas. Who knows? You're gonna have to test all of this out yourself. We'll say that one is monthly. Alright, so that lowered it. It kind of bumped it up there, but in the long term you might be able to divert more savings by changing energy sources. Here, medical sure seems expensive. Maybe we can find another plan. It's 100 and let's say we can drop it to 125. Let's say we have a dental plan. Let's say we can find a better deal. 80 bucks a month. Healthcare, flex care, flex spending. Let's say we just drop that. Let's only contribute half that much. Have to reduce the items we buy, but we're reducing expenses. Life insurance, don't want to cut that. Maybe you can find a better rate. 30 bucks. 30 bucks a month. Maybe time frequency was wrong on that. Alright, supplemental life, maybe this is $12.50 every month. Maybe you don't need an alarm system, maybe it's a little overkill. Or maybe you're debating it, just go ahead and leave it and put cut. Here we can go to communications. Comcast. Maybe they're too expensive. Maybe you can go to try Verizon DSL, so we've cut that. We've already cut it, so we still have that much in expenses. This one requires some sort of internet service, so let's try Verizon DSL. Let's say we can get a deal for $25 a month, and then we can go down to our critical expenses. Here we've got a lot of credit cards. Maybe we have enough in savings we can just pay off the small card. Start working on this one. Transportation expenses, we went to a train. Down here, grooming supplies. Maybe I don't need $100 every year. Maybe you can buy at thrift stores. Mend the clothes you have. Or make more money. Who knows? All the possibilities are endless. Alright, next we can go here. We've cut all the additional items here. So we still have quite a bit here. There's $143. Maybe we don't need a new one. Maybe we can buy a used laptop for there's some good used ones out there for $200, $300. So let's give ourselves a little bit of room there. A new laptop battery. Maybe we can get 2 years out of a battery by charging it frequently or keeping it plugged in. There's all kinds of ways to save money. And then maybe we don't need to worry about buying a secondary computer. Maybe we can cut this from our budget. New laptop battery, maybe we don't need that. Maybe we can create 2 logins on the computer and just share. Who knows? Air filters. Maybe we don't need one every 3 months. Let's say we can stretch it and get 2 months. So let's do semi-annual. You can wash the filters out. Then light bulbs. Maybe you go with the compact fluorescent light bulbs. Those should last longer. Let's say we can push it out to 1 year. Let's say we don't need quite that much in our emergency fund. Let's say we anticipate only $1,000 every year. Maybe we can cut back on color printing. Only print quarterly. But you get the idea. Still have $368. Gonna have to do something else. Have to get another raise. Alright, so now I can adjust my few expenses here to try and get my overspending cut to balance at 0. So let me try revising this. Let's say one person eats out one person takes a lunch, $15 a day, maybe can take turns between every other day. So we'll adjust the dinner to say we can eat for $8 of groceries. Alright, so that just changed the overspending cut amount to say no, we aren't overspending anymore. So now the remainder shows that we have some money left over in our budget. We still haven't technically balanced the budget. We've got to do something with this money. Of course, the most obvious choice is to save it. So let's go on up here to savings. Now, saving is already auto-calculated here based on a gross percentage, or a percentage of fixed percentage of gross income. So to add another entry to treat savings like an expense, we can just call this one additional savings, and we can just say this is to balance the budget. Alright, and we'll type in the amount that we have up here in our remainder into how much we're going to save. This new expense entry here. And of course this remainder is bi-weekly, so we'll make this new expense, savings expense, bi-weekly as well. So there you have it. We don't have anything left over, and we're not overspending. So this budget is balanced. Now, sticking to the budget is another issue, but at least all the numbers are there. And being able to see all the numbers as they add up and affect all the other numbers by using the spreadsheet, we gain a new perspective, or a different perspective of finances, rather than just the typical budget where expenses are just simply subtracted from income. In this case, we're chopping up our expenses into small quantities and adding those small quantities up to match our regular paycheck or regular income. This approach to budgeting is sometimes called cash flow budgeting. But I've simply turned it into a spreadsheet so that way you can visually compare the numbers, and you can easily change items by simply either cutting expenses or adding them back in. Now, one word of caution when using the Liberty Budget: when using the bi-weekly time frequency for expenses such as let's say we have a monthly bill that we have to pay. This is due well, that's a bad example. So it's every first of the month. We have to pay this bill every month. Because we're choosing to chop up our bills and compare them against our total number of pay periods in the year, the monthly expenses are divvied up by our biweekly pay frequency. So that means 26 pay periods in a year versus 24 semi-monthly payments that we would normally be used to reporting. So in this case, if our monthly bill is $125, if we rely on this to pay our bills, $57.69, you can see that if we use our calculator here, $57.69, and this is due every month, and we usually only have an average of 2 paychecks per month, because not every month is exactly 4 weeks, and some are few and some are less or more. Most are more, some are fewer. So if we simply multiply that by 2, we're going to come up short paying our bills. So don't rely on this to predict what you need to pay on your bills. Rather, see this as a tool to find out if you're overspending in the final analysis. To avoid something like this, you could simply choose a semi-monthly report, so that the extra 2 weeks or the extra 2 paychecks in a year are ignored in calculating your expenses, and then that way the numbers in this column would be exactly what you would need to make your monthly payment. Even if you choose to stick with the biweekly to see an exact representation of what comes out of each and every paycheck, every biweekly paycheck, you can still make your bills if you stick to this entire budget. You can still pay your bills with ease, because any overages or underages or whatever, shortages, any overages or shortages will easily be made up for by this thing up here called savings. You will have already built in a buffer for yourself for any of the small shortages or the small overages in expenses by simply having a savings listed as an expense. Because you're treating expenses as savings, or your savings as an expense, you're ensuring that you'll be able to make up for that small amount that might be reported as a shortage here. If you were relying on this column to, write your checks from, you would still have, or to pull money out or apportion money to that particular expense, you would still have enough money to cover that expense, because your savings is your buffer. Plus, you have many other items in here that you have saved for, such as catastrophic expenses down here, so catastrophic car repairs. You've been saving for that as well. So this just gives you a way to treat expenses in a new way, by chopping those up rather than chopping up your income and divvying it out to expenses. You simply chop up your expenses and compare them to your income. It's the same thing, but it might give you a different or you might even prefer to think of it as a better perspective on your finances. It surely helped me, and I hope it does the same for you. So thanks for viewing the tutorial. I hope you get a lot of use out of this spreadsheet, and if you have any comments or questions, any constructive criticism or improvements that you would like to see in this spreadsheet, please drop me a line. You can go to any of the pages and make a comment, and I'll be glad to respond to your comment. You can also send an email to the email that you received if you signed up for the newsletter. You can do that by clicking on the subscribe button on the download page and signing up on the for the newsletter. And you can also send emails to me via that address. Alright, this is Brandon Rice with Liberty Budget, and check out our YouTube channel for other great videos about finances and financial education, budgeting, and just financial freedom and financial liberty in general. Alright.